What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Shani, and welcome back to the Woman's Palace. So today I want to talk about surrendering and letting go. Okay, so now before we hop into this topic, go ahead and make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like the video and leave your comments down below. So let's hop into this topic, okay? So when you give your life to God or you're walking with God, you give your will up for God's will, which means you walking into the unknown, right? It's to me, it's kind of hard to walk into the unknown. It's kind of hard to be able to walk this thing out, not knowing what's going to happen. And I feel like God gives us glimpses of our purpose, glimpses of what's to come. And we feel like we put this image in our head. Oh, okay, God gave me this. I know how it's going to go. And when it don't turn out this way, you're discouraged, or you're like, well, where are you at, God? What is going on? Not realizing you got to be able to surrender your life to and keep your mind open. It's all about keeping an open mind is what I'm learning. When you walk with God, you have to keep an open mind. You cannot get so committed. Oh, this is how it's going to happen just because God gave you a glimpse. You have to understand what a glimpse is. It's not the full picture. We get parts of the picture and we feel like, oh, I know exactly how my life gonna be. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do this. And when it don't work like that, then you questioning God. And I speak for myself, and this is where God is teaching me letting go. Surrender it may not be easy, but when you be able to give up your will, you have to understand that you have to keep your mind open to all things, because you do not know God's will. God's ways are higher than our ways. So we're not going to always understand it, but we have to trust that God has the best interest for us at heart, and that he knows the future. He knows our tomorrow. So we don't necessarily understand, and it can be hard. And if not, I speak for myself. It can be hard. You have this whole picture for your life. I would have this whole picture for my life. Okay, God gave me this glimpse and it's gonna be like this, and when it don't go like this, I'm discouraged, or I'm like, God, what's going on? Or and it's all about, I heard Shantia say this. She said, we not the CEOs, we are managers. Like, God is the CEO and we are the manager. We're just managing what God gives us. And that kind of like clicked in my mind. I'm like, okay, that do make sense, because sometimes we'll always want to do what we want to do, not realizing when you surrender to God, you're getting God's will, which means you gave God permission to be able to interfere in your life and change things around and not allow certain things to go through, close certain doors, open certain doors. So it's like all about walking the unknown, being open to, what, I didn't think of this, but maybe God is pushing me towards this way. I'm not going to stay so closed-minded that I only see this one road, not realizing God is a big God, and he may take me by, instead of going to a train, I might go to an airplane. Instead of going to an airplane, I might go to a bus. You have to be able to open your mind to God. Is not limited to your mind. God is not limited to your imagination. You have to be able to open your mind to more. God may be calling you to let go of some people. People you may have never thought that you were going to let go, but you got to understand that God knows all things. People, you got to understand. And then I find myself, if you find yourself stuck and stagnant at a place and you're like, God, I'm doing what you are calling me to do. I'm working, when I say working, I mean becoming the person that God has destined you to be. I am fasting, I am praying, but it feels like I'm stuck, I'm stagnant. You have to check your surroundings. And that's what God is teaching me. So many people be so set on these titles, not realizing God knows all things. God knows if he bless you in a certain way, how that person will react. Or he knows if that person is going to betray you and that he's trying to save you. And sometimes we can, like I said, we get so caught up on titles. Well, that is my wooty woo, that we don't want to let go, not realizing when you surrender your life, you basically said, God, have your way with me. How you want my life to be, and that means some people gotta go. And when I had realized this, I put this in my book, that people, brothers and sisters and all this, and Jesus said, the people that's my brothers and sisters that's do the will of God. And you just got to look at life from a bird's eye view. You got to realize that life is more spiritual than it is physical. And you got to be able to realize who your real father is. Your spiritual father, the person that is eternal, is God. You need to stay connected to God. And this is not to say diss nobody, but this is to say you have to surrender your life. You're going to have to be willing to, you know what, God, if this is what you are calling me to let go, if this is what the doors you are calling me to close with people in it, I'm going to close it, because I can't be stuck. I can't be stagnant, and I won't go nowhere if I'm holding on to somebody that's really hurting me spiritually, all because I want to keep him as a title, and this is just all about just giving you comfort to know that when you surrender and when you let go, it will not be easy. It's hard to walk into the unknown. Like I said, as humans, we have this image for our life, and when the image is not played out, it can feel like a blow. It can feel like a discouragement. It can feel like, oh my gosh, what is my life? But when you walk with God, you have to realize that, you know what, I'm walking into the unknown. I may not know what my life look like, but I know it's going to be for the best of me, because the driver of my life, the CEO of my life, he has plans to prosper me and not to harm me. So I got to be able to understand his intentions. I may not know everybody else's intentions, but I know God's intentions are pure, and his heart is love, and he wants nothing but the best for me. Even if it hurts my physical flesh, I have to understand that it's for my spiritual growth. So walking in the unknown, yes, it hurts. Yes, it's like, oh my gosh, what is to come? What to expect? But I have to know that in the end, it's going to work out for my good. In the end, it's for my highest good. In the end, that God gets the glory for my life. I gave up my life, so I have to keep my mind open to, you know what, God, this is your will, not my will. I gave up my will, so I can't put in, oh, I have this imagination. I have to let that fairy tale go, because in all reality, it's a fairy tale. It's a fantasy. It's not the reality of what the world is. We have to, and that's what really made me like a hard pill to swallow, that the reality most people live in is a fantasy. Sometimes we want the happy this and happy that with everything, and that's not going to be the case most of the time because of the world we live in. But see, when you be able to accept the pill, swallow the pill. Okay, yes, it hurts. Yes, it is what it is. But guess what? I have a God that I serve that can give me better. I don't have to stay stuck in this image. And yes, it's hard to walk in the unknown, but I got to know that the unknown is the best. What God had to make me realize, would you rather walk in the unknown that is best for my highest good, or have an image in my life that is settling, that is less than what I deserve? And that hit me, because it was like, okay, sometimes we can have this image and we feel like it's so the best. But when you walk into the unknown and you really start to get into the unknown, and you realize at the end, like, oh, I was tripping. Like, I was nervous. I was discouraged for nothing, because this is way better than the life I lived. God says your latter days will be better than your former days. But you got to be able to believe that. And God, that's why God is just, get in my word. Trust me. Lean not on your own understanding. Don't always feel like, why, God, why? You gave me this glimpse. I gave you the glimpse, not the full picture. Don't get beside yourself. Understand that I am working out for your good. I'm for your highest good. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a hope and the future. But sometimes your flesh has to hurt in order for your spirit to grow. And you got to be able to be okay with that. You got to be able to walk with that. You know what? I'm walking in the unknown, but I know that the God that I serve is all for my highest good. It's for his glory. I know that at the end, it's going to be for the best of me. And even though I don't have this image in my life, even though I have to give up on people, even though I have to give up on the image, guess what? I still came back out on top, because I allowed God's will over my will. So I have to give up that. I have to give up the image. I have to give up the fantasy. I may have to give up some people, but guess what? Those are just down payments on the promised land. So this was just like an encouraging word to be able to get you to understand that, yes, it's hard to let go. It's hard to surrender to God, but you have to be able to realize when you are surrendering to something that's for your highest good, even if you don't see it in the moment. Walking in the unknown will be hard. I'm not here to present that it won't be hard, because you have to be able to let go of things that you see for things that you don't see. But you got to know the things that you don't see are better than what you see. And you got to be able to walk in that. Even when it's pitch black and you like, God, where are you? You got to know that God is with you. This is where just get back into your word. Just trust in God and lean not on your own understanding. You're not always going to understand why doors were closed. You're not always going to understand why you had to let that person go. But But guess what? You got to know that God is for you and he's not against you. And everything he do is for your highest good. So with letting go, be able to just put your trust in God. I don't understand what you are doing in this season, Father, but I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you when I can't see you. I'm going to trust you when it's black everywhere. I'm going to surrender my life to you for my highest good. So understand that when you walk with God, keep an open mind. Keep your mind open. Don't always get so stuck on one image. And if it's not the image, you don't want it. Because that's you are blocking God out. You won't be able to see God in things because you're keeping your mind so confined in a box. Open your mind. Be able to surrender. Well, flow with the river. Don't fight with the rocks. Be able to flow. Open your mind and surrender to God because he got you. So as I always say, go out and be a light in this dark world. Continue to strive and be all that God has for you.